හිත මැද්දට සිසිලස දුන් ගම් මැද්ද අම්පාර ලාහුගල කඳහිඳගම ජනතාවගේ පිරිසිදු පානීය ජල අවශ්‍යතාව සපුරාලීමට ජල පෙරණ පද්ධතියක් ලබා දීම සඳහා වැඩ ඇරඹේ. ගම් මැද්ද රට නගන ජන පෞර.
We are only a few hours from celebrating Christmas, the birth of Jesus Christ. St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican, along with Pope Francis, is preparing to celebrate Christmas along with the rest of the world. Preparations for Christmas were seen at many churches across the country. Christmas this year will be celebrated in accordance to health guidelines due to the pandemic. Regardless of the present situation, much anticipation can be seen to celebrate the festival. Newsfirst would like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas.
Hello there, very good evening. This is Prime Time News on TV1 for the News First, the voice of the people. I'm Martin Satyanesan. As the clock keeps ticking to strike midnight, the world awaits the dawn of Christmas Day. It's Christmas Eve here in Sri Lanka, and tonight, while we wish our viewers a Merry Christmas, we also have a detailed bulletin with stories that matter lined up for you. Before that, here's a look at your headlines.
News First Headlines. Main sponsor.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
Prime Minister worships at Lord Venkateshwara Temple. Doctors temporarily called off their strike action. Railway Station Masters Union continues strike as talks with authorities fail. Colombo Stock Exchange records yet another all-time high in the all-share price index. Dollar crisis likely to worsen.
මාසෙකින් මං ඔබට නැවතත් ඔබ අද මට විකුණපු ඩොලර් එක නැවතත් ඔබට විකුණනවා. හැබැයි එතකොට ඔබ මට ගෙවන්න වෙන්නේ 192.725ක් පමණයි. ඒක පුදුම වැඩක්.
News First Headlines. Main sponsor.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
On to those stories in detail. Wikum Atula Kaluarachi was sworn in as a new judge of the Court of Appeal this morning in the presence of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
Wikum Kaluarachi was appointed to the position left vacant following the retirement of Court of Appeal Justice Devi Kaberatne. Justice Kaluarachi is a product of Royal College in Colombo. In his 33-year service career, he served 27 years as a magistrate, district judge, Colombo High Court judge and a judge of the Civil Appellate Court. He was the senior most judge in the High Court. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa offered prayers at the ancient hill shrine of Lord Venkateshwara at Tirumala today. Indian media reported that Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was provided heavy security when he arrived at the Tirupati temple. Prime Minister Rajapaksa was accompanied by his wife Shiranti Rajapaksa and other family members.
The Colombo Stock Exchange all-share price index recorded yet another all-time high today.
The Colombo Stock Exchange's all-share price index recorded yet another all-time high today, surpassing the 12,000 mark for the first time. Accordingly, the ASPI increased by 1% to end at 12,070 points, while the SLP and SL20 increased by 0.14% to end at 4,255 points. The turnover for the day was recorded at 2.84 billion rupees.
While the Colombo Stock Exchange continues to record new highs, the dollar crisis is continuing to aggravate at present. The Economy Next website has reported that Sri Lanka's interbank dollar funding costs have moved close to 50%.
What are interbank transactions?
If a bank requires dollars, it obtains it from another bank by exchanging rupees for a period of 1 month. This means the bank obtains dollars by paying the other bank the equivalent amount of rupees. The bank that lent the dollars obtains it again after paying the equal amount of rupees in a month.
What is happening to these interbank transactions?
According to the Economy Next website, banks are obtaining a dollar in exchange for 200 rupees. The bank that lent the dollars then obtains it again in a month by paying 192 rupees and 25 cents. That is 7 rupees and 75 cents less than the amount at which it issued the dollars. This would also mean that the banks that obtain the dollars first will face a loss of 7 rupees and 75 cents for every dollar. According to the Economy Next website, the expenses of banks for interbank dollar funding costs have moved close to 50%.
බැංකුව එච්චරට අසරණ තත්ත්වයට පත් වෙලා වෙන කොහෙන්වත් ඩොලර් ගන්න හැකියාවක් නැති නිසා කියනවා.
Banks are helpless as they can't find dollars anywhere. They agree to obtain it by paying 200 rupees for each dollar and return it by receiving only 192.25 rupees. Dollars are being bought at an interest of more than 40%. They are trying to maintain that exchange rate until the 31st, even if it comes by causing inconveniences to the people because they want to balance the data. If they allow the rate to float, it will go up to 230 or 240 rupees. The economic growth rate and inflation relative to GDP is heading in a wrong direction. We hear that there are attempts to hold talks on the 3rd on whether they have to go to the International Monetary Fund or not. The government could have made this decision 13 months ago. They did not obtain the advice of experts. The same applies to the agriculture, health and economic sectors. They were stubborn and they believed that they were acting in the right way. Now they have pushed the country into a crisis. They must obtain the advice of experts at least now.
ආර්ථිකෙත් එහෙමයි හැම තැනම එහෙමයි. තමන්ගේ උද්දච්චකමට තමන් සියල්ල දන්නවා අපි තමයි හොඳටම කරන්න කියලා දැන් මේ රට සම්පූර්ණ අගාධයකට තල්ලු කරලා දාලා තියෙනවා. කරුණා කරලා දැන්වත් විශේෂඥ උපදෙස් අනුව වැඩ කරන්න.
In a statement, 10 business chambers said companies are finding it difficult to obtain foreign currency for imports. The chambers are Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, Federation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Ceylon National Chamber of Industries, Chamber of Young Local Entrepreneurs, ICC Sri Lanka, National Chamber of Commerce, National Chamber of Exporters, Chamber of Construction Industry, Women Chamber of Industry and Commerce and Sri Lanka Apparel. They said this affects the credibility of doing business with suppliers and business associates who transact in foreign currency. The statement read that businesses are finding it difficult to obtain letters of credit and are unable to clear goods in the port. It added that this will affect the availability of essential products, especially during the festive season. The 10 chambers also warned that the banking system would face difficulties as a result of not being able to meet the needs of their long-standing customers and could eventually experience a serious loss of reputation if they were compelled to dishonor committed payments. The statement added that the government will also experience a loss of revenue due to a drop in import duties at a time when increasing government revenue is of paramount importance. Accordingly, the chambers urged the government to finalize swaps and credit lines to receive foreign currency. They said if such measures aren't successful, the government should reconsider alternatives such as engaging with the IMF. The statement noted that businesses will have to relocate overseas if conditions don't improve.
These were the views expressed by MP SP Disanayaka on the economy during a media briefing today.
ලෝක ආර්ථික සංසදයේ පෙරේදා විශේෂ වාර්තාවක් එළි දක්වලා තියෙනවා.
The World Economic Forum had released a special report recently. They had said that 2/3 of the people have been affected because of rising global inflation rates and the cost of living, and that people across the world are under severe pressure. In the UK, inflation rates and the cost of goods are at its highest in 10 years. Most of the people in Australia are earning daily wages to make ends meet. The World Bank says this is the biggest downfall since the 1870s. JP Morgan, which is the biggest rating agency, has cautioned that there would be a massive shortage of food and essential commodities. I'm asking the government to avoid making room for slogans, demands and salary increments. This isn't the time to increase salaries, but to reduce them even on a global level. It is unlawful if they try to make such demands now. That must be brought under control.
එපා කියන එක තමයි මම කියන්නේ. මොකද ලෝකයේ මේ වෙලාවේ පඩි වැඩි කරන වෙලාවක් නෙවෙයි පඩි අඩු කරන වෙලාව. ඒ වගේ දේවල් කරන්න එනවා නම් ඒක නීති විරෝධී. ඒක වහාම පාලනය කරන්න ඕන.
The parliamentarian also commented on the New Fortress deal.
New Fortress Energy සමාගම.
The New Fortress company came to Sri Lanka. It is a strong entity. A new claim has surfaced stating that the company has links to the Rajapaksas and that this belongs to the Rajapaksas. The company's managing director or the second in command is Dr. Jatila Ransinghe. The presence of a person like Jatila Ransinghe is alone enough to choose New Fortress as an investor.
Jatila Ransinghe. ඒ Jatila Ransinghe එතන ඉන්න එකම ඇති අපට හරිනම් New Fortress එක වගේ ආයෝජකයෙක් තෝරගන්න.
The Samagi Jana Balawege had organized a protest in Dompe against the rising fuel prices and the cost of living.
They came to power by promising to eradicate poverty. Although they said they will eliminate poverty, the people never imagined that they would leave the poor utterly helpless. By increasing fuel costs, the cost of all products and services will increase. What relief has Basil Rajapaksa provided? The only thing that has happened is that they have been acquitted from their cases. We are demanding the government to provide relief to the people.
The Janata Vimukti Peramuna staged multiple protests demanding the government to address the rising cost of living. A protest march took place at the Akurasa town in Matara today.
The government has a formula to increase the cost of goods by creating a shortage. We are asking the government to provide relief to the people. Prepare to provide them concessions.
A protest was also held in Kurunegala.
They say this has been done to reduce the use of fuel. I don't know if they assume that people fry cookies using fuel. The people aren't foolish to pump fuel and wander around the country. When fuel costs increase, the prices of all goods and services will go up.
A protest was staged in Ginigathena urging authorities to reduce the cost of fuel and the cost of living.
They said they will provide concessions to the people and painted a heavenly picture to gain power. Now they have abandoned the people. The government doesn't have a solution to support the people.
The Janata Vimukti Peramuna staged a protest in Trincomalee today.
If there is no sugar or milk powder, or if the cost of fuel is increasing, why do we need a government?
A protest was also held in Wikiligaskada today.
Farmers are pointing out that their cultivations are facing a threat of going to waste as they haven't received fertilizer on time for the Maha season. This is the situation at cultivation fields in Giranduru Kotte Ampara. We fell for this trap. We have been left completely helpless. We have nothing to do. There is no fertilizer. Fertilizer is expensive in the black market. We must sell 10 bundles of paddy to buy 1 bundle of fertilizer. We are extremely worried. This is the situation across fields on which liquid fertilizer was applied.
Lanka
The situation is no different for the paddy farmers of Badulla.
මේ කොම්පෝස්ට් එකක් දීලා තියෙන එකකින් අත්තු වෙනවා වටේගේ දේශපාලඥයන් නම් ඉන්නවා සර් 225ක. උන් හිටියට අපේ දුක තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ. 225ම මකබාලට යන්න ඕනේ.
Farmers of Susirigama in Polonnaruwa say their crops have turned yellow because of the lack of fertilizer.
The government-registered National Federation of Agripreneurs convened a media briefing in Galle today.
A state minister of the government is saying that farmers will be punished if they are caught disposing fertilizer. Please come and try to punish. Did we ask you to give us waste fertilizer? Did we ask you to bring a ship carrying waste to the country? This entire crisis would not have happened if they allowed the people to engage in cultivations as usual. After creating the crisis, now they are telling us that they will punish us. Try doing that. Farmers are waiting.
If
they are paying compensation to the Chinese ship carrying waste, they must pay compensation to the farmers for damages they caused to their cultivations. They must carry out an evaluation and provide a concession to the farmers.
Fitch Ratings, the credit rating agency, has downgraded the Bank of Ceylon's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating.
Fitch Ratings has downgraded the Bank of Ceylon's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating to CC from CCC. Fitch said that the rating does not carry an outlook because of the high volatility at this rating level, in line with Fitch's rating definitions. Fitch has also downgraded BOC's viability rating to CC from CCC and has affirmed the long-term local currency IDR at CCC. BOC's national long-term rating of AA- LKA was not considered in this review.
We'll continue with more local stories after this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
Welcome back to the news. Fishermen in Jaffna staged a protest today opposing the illegal entry of Indian fishermen into Sri Lankan waters.
The protest was organized by the Jaffna Fisheries Cooperative Union. The fishermen marched to the Jaffna District Secretariat. They then staged a protest opposite the District Secretariat. The movement of vehicles along the A9 road was affected due to the protest. These were the scenes that were witnessed when Fisheries Minister Douglas Devananda visited the area.
I spoke to Indian Prime Minister Modi and External Affairs Minister Jaishankar over the phone. The central government has appointed a state minister to intervene and resolve this problem, but a solution hasn't been provided to this problem. I will discuss with the President and Prime Minister. Indian fishermen are being arrested. We will take legal action to prevent the entry of Indian fishermen.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Sajid Premadasa today pointed out the importance of an information technology revolution in the country.
the donation of smart boards and computers to the school system of the country under the initiative of the opposition leader aiming to accelerate towards a digital economy through information technology commenced today. The initiative will be carried out focusing on government schools. The digital revolution is happening around the world as part of the fourth industrial revolution. By 2020, only 22.2% of the households had computers. 75% of the school students did not have computers. Only 35% had internet facilities. There is a shortage of teachers to teach ICT, similar to the Unicorn project generating more than $1 billion. By 2023, our country must have a target of creating at least 200,000 direct IT jobs and 400,000 indirect job opportunities. 1,000 unicorn projects in the country through an ICT revolution initiated centering government schools. Information technology garden programs, IT incubator projects, creating data centers, business process sort out and BPU programs must be created. Moreover, programs to distribute resources to improve computer literacy and IT literacy in schools must be initiated soon. For more than 70 years, the government started many development programs using state resources, and the opposition always dwelled in criticizing the government. As a people-friendly, modern, wise, visionary and progressive political movement that rejected both those policies, we propose that those projects be carried out centering schools.
විප්ලවය නියම ව්‍යාපෘති හරහා මහ පොළොවේ රාජ්‍ය පාසල් කේන්ද්‍ර කරගෙන ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා.
In less than 150 hours, the year 2021 will end and 2022 will dawn. However, this year has been marred with many scandals like the garlic scam, sugar scam, coconut oil scam and most importantly, the infamous data scam. Sensitive and vital data that are paramount to the people were deliberately deleted from the Lanka government cloud in July 2021.
23rd July. The Lanka government cloud is used to store sensitive data of the people. This includes details of national identity cards, land deeds, bank account details, maps, file numbers of criminal cases, judicial records and medical details. And for the first time, a complaint was made with the Criminal Investigations Department over the deletion of sensitive data from the Lanka government cloud. 3rd October, a team of experts was appointed to commence the process to recover the National Medicine Regulatory Authority's missing data. 6th October, at a time when the COVID-19 pandemic was spreading across the country, medicinal drug racketeers took advantage of the situation. Senior Deputy Solicitor General Dileepa Puris told the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court that the software engineer at Epic Lanka Technologies had deleted data for a period of 7 hours. The Senior Deputy Solicitor General said the deletion of data was part of the drug mafia and criminal investigations are requested against all responsible to bring them before the law. 6th October, when the software engineer of Epic Lanka was produced in court, it was revealed that the deletion of sensitive data was not a mistake, but a deliberate act. 13th October, a 5-member investigative team that dug deep into the conduct of the NMRA revealed that such scandals had taken place over the years. If one single person can access a system with highly sensitive data that is vital for national security, who can give an assurance that our data will be protected in the future as well? For your attention.
The data scam.
At least 3,000 chickens were reported dead from a fire that broke out at a poultry farm in Pallegama, Kurunegala during the early hours today.
The inferno at the poultry farm located in Eliwilichia, Pallegama was reported at around 3 a.m. today. According to our correspondent, gas cylinders were being used for brooding temperatures for poultry flocks at the farm. At the time of the incident, 3 gas cylinders were being used for this purpose, and this is how they looked after the blaze was doused. I heard a loud noise. Then one of the boys came running to me, and when we looked at the building, it was on fire. We called the fire brigade and they came here after 5 a.m. They managed to douse the fire. A fire also destroyed the warehouse of a factory in Ganemulla today. The warehouse belonged to a contractor that produces equipment for the Ceylon Electricity Board. The fire was brought under control by the Gampaha Municipal Fire Brigade. It was reported that 2 vehicles at the facility were destroyed in the fire.
Gas-related explosions were reported in several areas today. An explosion that occurred at a 2-storied house in Minuwangoda had caused damages to its kitchen and room. It is being reported that no one was inside the house at the time. Our correspondent reported that wedding decor and supplies are manufactured at the house and that several items were destroyed.
When we tried to douse the fire, we saw that it had spread to the other side. Officers of the Ceylon Electricity Board searched the house for any signs for power leakage, but they said that that wasn't the case.
A gas cooker had exploded at a house in Bandaravela last night. A gas cooker had exploded at a house in Horana this afternoon. The occupants had placed their gas cylinder outside their home considering the recent explosions.
The Government Medical Officers Association today said it would call off the strike that was staged across 4 days. The strike had been staged opposing the transfer that were made without the approval of the transfer board.
We paid lengthy attention to the letter issued by the Health Secretary yesterday on resolving our problems. The Health Ministry has accepted certain points on the shortcomings from their end. We decided to give the Health Ministry a week to rectify this situation. We have taken steps to address these problems. These are sensitive matters. We hope that the Government Medical Officers Association will make these demands on justifiable grounds. We are requesting them to avoid engaging in activities with personal motives and to show their power and to instead work with us in a cordial manner.
Patients in several areas were affected due to the doctor's strike.
මෙහෙක් ගන්න ආපුවම කියනවා ඔයාලා ටීවී බලන්නේ නැද්ද දන්නේ නැද්ද කියලා. ඉතින් මෙයාට එවිදින්නත් බෑ. ඉතින් මොනවාද කරන්නේ කියලා මම දන්නේ.
ඉන්න බෑනේ කැක්කුමයිනේ.
උදේ 7:00ට ආවේ දැන් තාමත් ඉඳන් ඉන්නවා.
අපිටත් සාධාරණයක් වෙන්න බෑ මහත්තයා. යාලා ප්‍රශ්න වලට අපි පළි නෑනේ නේද?
බේත් නේතු බෑනේ අපිට. සල්ලිත් නෑනේ පිටින් ගිහලා ගන්න.
අහිංසක දුප්පත් මිනිස්සු හැම තැනම පීඩාවටපත්.
They are inconveniencing innocent people in all areas. They go to private hospitals and obtain medicines and treatment, but the people don't have the means of surviving. Why are they doing this to only the poor?
උදේ 5ට ආවේ බෙහෙත් ගන්න. ඉතින් දොස්තරලා ඉස්සයි කරනවා. ඉතින් අපිට අපේ බෙහෙත් ලෙඩ වලට බෙහෙත් ගන්න නැහැ ඉතින්.
උදේ 5යි කාලේ බස් එකේ ආවේ. හරි අසාධාරණයි මේ වැඩ.
While the doctors' strike has left patients helpless, the Railway Superintendents Union engaged in a trade union action today. They refrained from issuing travel tickets for passengers. This allowed the people to travel on train without tickets. I feel something good must happen to the people. If they are doing it, that's good for us. The strike is good because it is being done without affecting us. It's good that they are trying to win their rights by engaging in such trade union actions without inconveniencing the people. It isn't good to inconvenience patients to win their demands. Those in the medical profession are respectable people. To win their demands, they must not inconvenience the people, but instead use an alternative method. The Railway Superintendents Union had launched the strike, citing several demands, including repairing railway signals and opposing the use of broken compartments in trains. A discussion between ministry officials and the Railway Superintendents Union ended without a solution. We held talks with the Ministry Secretary on the 25 points that they put forward. They agreed on most of the points. They agreed to resolve them in the coming days. Therefore, we expect the railway superintendents to stop their trade union action and continue their services. The department sustained a loss of 5 million rupees as a result of the strike. We carry out our duties without masks or gloves because we have to provide our services. If this situation continues, we regret the situation that would arise in the future. We don't agree with inconveniencing the people, but if a solution is not provided to this, we will have to launch the island-wide strike reluctantly at midnight on the 26th.
Up next is Crime Watch.
Crime Watch.
The police said that the father, mother and sister of the 13-year-old girl who was murdered in Pudukkudi have been arrested. The Mullaitivu District Court granted permission for police to detain and interrogate them for a period of 48 hours. Her brother-in-law, who was earlier arrested, has been remanded until the 4th of January. On Thursday, police had searched the house of the victim's sister.
Crime Watch.
Rajco Industries in Sialkot, Pakistan have recruited another Sri Lankan to the post held by the late Priyantha Kumara, who was lynched by a mob in early December 2021.
The appointment of a Sri Lankan to the post of Priyantha Kumara was disclosed when Maulana Tariq Jamil, a popular Pakistani scholar, paid a visit to the Sri Lankan High Commission in Pakistan and expressed their condolences on the incident that took place in Sialkot. Maulana Tariq Jamil affirmed that justice would prevail and the culprits to be punished. In addition, Pakistan's Foreign Minister Shah Mohammad Qureshi said the entire political leadership, religious scholars and Pakistani nation had condemned the incident and the government of Pakistan was determined to take all necessary steps to bring perpetrators to justice. The police have so far produced 85 suspects of the Sialkot lynching incident in the anti-terrorism court.
Shifting your attention to international news, France condemned the Malian transitional authorities' decision to allow the deployment of the Wagner Group and accused Moscow of funding the private military company's use of mercenaries in the West African country.
Mali has struggled to contain an extremist insurgency since 2012. Extremist rebels were forced from power in the country's northern cities with the help of a French-led military operation, but they regrouped in the desert and began launching attacks on the Malian army and its allies. In June, Colonel Assimi Goïta was sworn in as president of a transitional Malian government after carrying out his second coup in 9 months. Mali faces increasing isolation from the international community over the junta's power grab. Elections are due to be held in February, but there are fears that it would be delayed. The Wagner Group has been accused by Western governments and UN experts of human rights abuses in the Central African Republic and involvement in the conflict in Libya. France and Germany have both objected to the presence of its mercenaries in Mali. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that the company has a legitimate right to be in the West African nation because it was invited by the transitional government, and he has insisted that the Russian government is not involved.
The World Health Organization is requesting people to support measures put in place by countries during this holiday season in view with the Omicron variant.
The WHO is calling on people to support measures put in place by countries in view of the new COVID-19 variant and holiday season. The overall threat posed by the Omicron variant will also depend on how people perceive risk and follow measures to prevent and control its further spread. The statement also added increasing social mixing during holiday season and large gatherings may intensify transmissible and lead to rise in cases, which could be exponential with a more transmissible variant. Rapid increase in case counts risk overwhelming healthcare systems and impacting accessibility to healthcare for those most in need of life-saving services, both for COVID-19 and non-COVID-19 health issues. Countries must continue to engage with communities, share evidence-based information on Omicron and other circulating variants and potential implications for the public in a timely manner, including what is known and what is unknown and what is being done by authorities.
At least 38 people have been killed and about 100 others injured after a packed ferry caught fire in southern Bangladesh.
The blaze on the 3-deck vessel started mid-river near the town of Jalakati as it sailed from the capital Dhaka to the town of Baguna. Some of the victims drowned after jumping into the water. The number of casualties is likely to increase as many of the passengers have severe burns. As many as 500 people were reportedly on board the vessel. Fire services official told foreign media that the fire is believed to have started in the engine room and quickly spread as the ferry travelled along the Sugandha River in early hours.
Mixed martial arts or MMA has become an emerging sport worldwide. Although not popular as cricket, football or rugby, MMA has a loyal fan base around the world centered around major MMA promotions. 2 Sri Lankans will be taking part in a global scale event next year. Newsfirst, Untitled filed this report.
Malinda Boyka Amarasinghe and Ajmal Yaka Yaqub are 2 athletes who have made fighting their livelihood. With impressive resumes, both Malinda and Ajmal are training for an upcoming event these days, which is to be held in Thailand on the 8th of January. Malinda will take part in the main event against a fighter from one championship, Rocky Baktol.
මෙතන තව රටවල් තියෙනවා බ්‍රසීල්, ආෆ්‍රිකා, ඇමරිකන්, තායිලන්ඩ්, නේපාල්, පිලිපීන් ඒ වගේ රටවල් කට්ටිය ඉද්දිත් ලංකාවේ මට මේ මේන් ඉවෙන්ට් එකක් හම්බ වෙන එක ගැන ගොඩක් මේ මට ආඩම්බරයි ඒ සම්බන්ධ.
Ajmal will face off against a pro Thai MMA fighter, Simon Tracy.
Basically, when we fight, when we represent Sri Lanka, then people get to know more that there are Sri Lankan MMA fighters. Like there are like really good fighters who can really do good. So definitely we will open door for the other people as well, other new generation, for them to come and fight and compete.
Thailand Fighting Championship, or the TFC, showcases fights with the region's premier up-and-coming fighters that are looking to make a name for themselves and advance their careers to go fight for one championship, Rizin and the UFC.
You may have heard of major MMA superstars like Conor McGregor, Khabib Nurmagomedov or John Jones. How far is Sri Lanka from having a fighter that can go up to an international level like that? Well, for Malinda and Yaqub, only time will tell. Senitha Newsfirst, Colombo.
We leave you tonight with a final minute segment focusing on an incident that occurred in Kegol yesterday. For the Newsfirst, the voice of the people, I'm Martin Satyanesan, along with our sign language interpreter Tharaka Gabriel. You take care and good night.
A man was filmed on camera while being assaulted by a police officer in the Kegol town today. Police said the man who was assaulted had attacked a woman previously. They said the police officer had intervened to bring the situation under control. In a statement, the police said the man who was assaulted had committed acts of wrongdoing previously. The statement said the man had been in prison previously as well. However, the police said officers cannot act beyond their powers even when handling a criminal. The IGP had instructed for an investigation to be carried out into the officer.